I am here with Will Madera. Will runs sound for
Pitbull.
Pitbull.
Yeah.
How'd you get
Pitbull.
Man, so how'd you get with Pitbull?
Okay, it's a long story, but I'll make it short.
Okay.
I was doing a gig in New York for the drummer, for another artist, Venezuelan artist,
Okay.
and I mixed front of house and monitors from the same console.
Okay.
And he liked the mix. And he offered me the gig. Hey, dude, I'm going on tour with Pitbull. I'm like, I don't even know who's that. But it's okay. Does it pay? And I went. They flew me to Miami, and our first show was in Calle Ocho, which is craziness over there. It's a great festival in Miami.
That was your first show?
First show with Pitbull. And I flew, and then we started the tour after that. And that's how I got into the gig, through the drummer. He
Okay.
introduced me, and then
And you've just been with...
with him for 16, 17 years now.
That's a long tenure, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Is this
Hey.
only person you mix for?
No, I have mixed for the artists Daughtry,
Okay.
Sebastian Yatra,
Okay.
Uzi, Ghana,
Okay.
and who else? Karol G, I have done some shows for her.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to keep, but he keeps me busy.
Sure.
Yeah,
It's Mr.
I can't.
Worldwide.
Yeah, exactly.
What got you into running sound in the first place?
When I was in high school, I was into music. I like music and stuff, and my music teacher introduced me because I don't play any instruments, and he was trying to make me sing opera. I was a bass on it.
So you did sing, though, so you were musically...
Yeah.
Okay.
I was like a bass. And from there, I'm like, but I want to be more like in the action of the shows. And he introduced me into a school in New York, which was A&R, an Institute of Audio and Research.
Okay.
And that's how I started this,
Okay.
journey, I guess, no?
Cool.
Yeah.
So you went from there to mixing with Pitbull.
No, actually, I did a lot of one-off,
Okay.
off-Broadway shows in
cool.
New York. And then I worked for Live Nation, too. I did a lot of, like, metal shows.
Really?
That was what I liked.
What was the Broadway stuff like? And how's that differ to
Oh,
this?
it's very different because it was more like lavaliers mics and floor mics,
Sure.
and playing cues. I had to do it because it was off Broadway. It's not like Broadway shows.
Yeah.
So I had to do all the follow the script.
Yeah.
Like okay, play this cue number one, cue.
Yeah. Did you like doing that?
I did for a while, but then I got kind of like I want to more like I want to feel drums. I want to feel like guitars and all that.
Were you actually like New York Broadway?
Yeah, like off Broadway.
Okay, that's pretty cool
Yeah,
actually.
off.
So you're from New York, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't live there now?
No. My sister lives there still.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you go now?
I went to Miami, from Miami to Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that's where I'm at.
Well, we got some beautiful stuff here.
Yes.
Do you mind walking me through a little bit of what you have and what we're using? I see your Rivage here is a PM5.
PM5, yes.
Why the PM5? Did you start off, obviously you didn't start off with the PM5 because it wasn't around back then.
No.
Let me ask you this, sorry.
Yep.
What'd you start off with Pitbull?
I think it was a crest that they were giving me. Since it was, when he was starting, we were getting whatever the club had, like the House of Blues.
Sure. Console du jour, PA du jour.
Yeah, sometimes it was like Midas
Yeah.
and Crest.
Yeah.
And then it started going to the digital, some Yamahas too.
Oh, for shit, get some good chops, man.
Yeah. Then PM5s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it wouldn't, change.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of Yamaha though, and then Digico,
Sure.
since it was changing, yeah. But I kind of have used pretty much a lot of consoles with him.
Okay.
Yeah. Even the LB1 too.
When you started using your own console, what was the first one you did?
The Avid,
Okay.
the Profile.
So what made you want to go from Avid to Yamaha?
Well, I went from Avid to Digico.
Okay.
And then from Digico, I went to this.
Okay.
And I'm a big fan of Brad, so I hear good things about him and everybody. So I
As we all are. We all love Brad.
Yeah. So I gave it a shot, and I'm happy, very happy. I love the sound of it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, Pitbull, forgive me, but it seems like It's almost every time I see him, it's just him. I'm assuming that there's more than just him on the stage. How many?
Oh yes, there's
Full band?
Full band, yeah. We have drums, bass, keys, guitars, DJ. Am I missing someone? Percussion.
Okay. How many inputs?
We are on like, for front of house, we are like 52.
How many of those are drums?
Drums is like 12, 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, any special like parallel compression tricks?
Well, I'm using the tweezer here,
Okay.
which I do my compression, parallel compression, I do my blend.
Okay.
So I blend it a little
Yeah,
bit.
walk us through this if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. So right now I have the G bus, the SSL, which I use for my left and right.
Okay.
Just to glue my mix a little bit, and get that
Yeah.
analog feel, And then I have the Maggie Q for the left and right too, my master bus.
Oh, so you do both in the master bus?
These two, yes.
Okay.
Then I have this on my drums, the drums groups for compression and parallel.
Okay.
And then I'm using, I just tried this on this tour, which is the Cranbourne preamp
Do you like
on
it?
his vocals. I like it though.
Yeah.
I really do. It's kind of clean though. And it works for his vocals because I had the Neve before. Don't get me, I love it because that's what we use for him in the studio. But I just decided, we always like to play with new toys and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like a super, it's not so crazy expensive.
Sure.
Yeah.
I see a cream liner in there. What are you using that for?
Yes, that's for my left and right too. Yes.
Okay.
Just to glue it a little bit and get some of those, I don't even know how to pronounce it though, artifacts.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, artifacts?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Brad recommended this to me.
Yeah.
And
So
I
he's
just
going
started,
over there too.
Yeah. And as soon as I tried it, I bought it right away.
Are you using any native?
Yes, pretty much everything is EQ and compressed in the console, internal. Everything is here.
Okay.
What I'm using plugins is just in my groups. Because I do love plugins. I can change the sound a little bit. and
You
stuff.
waves guy?
Waves and UAD. Yeah.
Okay.
So for waves, it's just on the groups, like for drums, bass, guitars, vocals. And I'm using the UAD just for the left and right, the manual.
Okay.
Just to limit it and hold it tight.
So you've done several different genres of music, from metal to Latin styles. How's your approach to Latin versus different styles? Do you approach it differently, or is it still the same?
Well, I do. It depends on the music. Let's say for metal or rock, I would never approach it as pig because it's more like Latin with hip hop and pop and EDM.
Yeah.
So I gotta try to keep that. Drums have to be a little more like kind of hip hop and pop at the same time.
Yeah, no, I get it.
So I do approach it differently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you guys using for microphones and capsules?
Right now we're using for drums, we have SE microphones on all the drums for percussion DPA.
Okay.
4090s, full of them, all of them. For his vocal, we're using the Sennheiser 9000.
Okay.
Yeah. With the Capsule 8, I'm not too good with the models. And they switched it, I think it's 835.
Okay. Now, talk to me about your tuning. Are you a pink noise person? Are you a mix to a song? Are you both?
I'm a little bit of both. And with the pink, just to get the room, sound on it. And then listening to records. And especially with the virtual, I do use a lot the virtual for the PA.
What's your song for?
Which one is the one that I've been using? Is the Def Punk?
Okay.
Def Punk, that's the one I use. Yeah.
I have a lot of people who watch this channel from very experienced to not experienced, and there's a lot of people who are not very experienced that want to learn from people like you. And so with that, what advice would you give to people starting off that want to be in your shoes one day, or advice you'd give to yourself?
The best is just believe in yourself, and mistakes is what makes you. So we gotta make mistakes to learn though. So not to be afraid.
What would you say is one of the biggest mistakes new engineers make starting off?
Want to be loud. That's the first one.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yep. That was me starting off.
Yeah.
Had to learn from quality versus quantity.
Correct.
How did you find that balance?
It took me a while to understand that it's not about being loud. It's you gotta keep that balance. And even though like the lower, let's say sometimes the lower you mix, the more you can hear everything.
Yeah.
Then get to maybe 99, 100, 101.
Yeah.
Maybe peak 102, you know,
Yeah.
on a show. And that's how you can control that. Like 'cause sometimes with the emotion and the excitement, you just keep pushing. It's like, oh.
I made a lot of those mistakes,
Yeah.
especially making louder instead of making the edits I should, and also creating space and room for stuff as well.
Yes.
Do you, when you mix or when you start off, do you start off with a kick and then snare and listening to them, or in solo stuff and guitar, listen to that, or do you more listen to it as a whole picture?
Well, let's say I would listen like everything separate, EQ it and get it like to hear it by itself. Then I put it in context.
Okay.
And that's when I start balancing stuff. And, you know,
Yeah.
because sometimes when it's by itself, it might sound totally different when you put it in context.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of it,
Yeah.
you know? So I do a little bit of both.
So with talking about creating space, for spatial, do you do any panning?
Oh, yes, a lot of panning.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you like to pan?
Toms, hi-hat.
Okay. Hard pan or?
No, I just do like toms. I like to get that left to right,
Yeah.
you know. So I go like if we're in the middle, like maybe like this. So it'll
Okay.
be like 30 and 30 maybe,
Yeah.
or 40 and 40.
Yeah.
And then my floor, I try to keep it in the middle if I have 4,
Yeah.
you know. Yeah.
What is some of the best advice you got from one of your mentors?
That's a cool one. I have my best mentor is, to be honest, is audio engineer or in general.
Either.
Okay. It's Pitt. It's like,
Yeah?
Yeah. He's my best mentor, man. He's just telling me just believe in yourself and just, you know, and don't disrespect and just know what you're doing every day, you know, and keep going and believe in us. That's the most important thing is when you decide to do something, just to believe in it. Because if you don't believe in it, nobody will.
Yeah.
So, and that's what keeps you going and going and going,
Yeah.
you know?
What advice would you give to yourself starting off? Knowing what you know now, what would you tell young you?
Not to party so much. Yes, not to party so much. Yeah. But in the audio world, maybe to not stress so much, or not let the emotions control when I'm mixing, because sometimes your ears block.
Yeah.
So that's my best. Like, be calm, listen, use your ears, not your vision.
Got it.
Yeah, that because I did use a lot of vision before.
Yeah.
You're just going.
Yeah. Well, I have to remind myself sometimes too, especially with digital consoles, is like to not mix with my eyes and mix with my ears.
Yes.
Because there's some stuff I'm so used to seeing that it doesn't sound good though. I have to remember, oh yeah, look up, there's a band there. And does it sound, because it may not look right there every single time, but especially with a lot of the younger cats, they're so much more used to working on screens and working on digital words. When I started off, I'm not sure about you, but I remember having to tip the big consoles and plug in the gates and plug in the reverbs and doing all of that.
Would it be like 4 racks here?
Exactly.
Gates and compressors? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So coming from somebody who's been in the industry for a while, you've seen a lot of fads, I'm sure you have. What do you think is the future of audio engineering? Do you think it's going to be all AI and a robot back here, or just loading a laptop? What do you see as the future, or what are you excited about?
I have think about that. Like, I think, does AI is going to replace us? Sometimes, you know, but I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think so, not yet. Because we do need to feel as music. You need to feel the, you know, especially mixing it. I don't think it will get to that level of the console mixing by itself.
Yeah.
We need to hear the room. So that's what we're talking. It's not eyes and vision. We need to hear it,
Yeah.
you know? So I think the future will be like a little bit of mix of both. And actually, analog is coming back because we want that sound.
It really is.
It's coming back, especially like this 500 series stuff. Because you want to feel it has more body, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's gonna be a mix of both. But I don't think so, not yet. Like, AI, please don't do that.
Don't do it.
Please.
Not yet. We still need a paycheck.
Yeah, we need work.
What was you think is one of the hardest lessons you learned with touring? Because I know there's a balance of being good at your craft, being a good hang, and also being able to critically think. Because when things go down on tour, you have to figure that out fast.
Yes.
And I know there's been some engineers that have jumped into a position that they weren't quite ready. For. Was it tough for you starting off and getting, because it's obviously you had some experience beforehand, but going from doing off-Broadway stuff to touring, was it a tough transition for you?
Yes, because you, like we were talking, you make a lot of mistakes, and mentally you gotta be prepared. Like, you're out and it's a different city, it's a different, you know, so you need to be prepared mentally, like to be able to have solution to every problem, which is sometimes where we get stuck on the problem. So as soon as you go with that mentality, solutions for everything, solutions, instead of screaming and going crazy, what's the solution? And so we don't stay in a loop. And I think that's a good thing, you know, to have in mind when you go out to, because it's all about solutions and troubleshooting when we're on the road.
Another thing I find is tough is being on the road and being away from family. I know that you're married and you have a kid.
Yes.
How do you find that balance and keeping your inner peace with everything? How do you find that?
Well, that's a hard one, because it's like the best way is to be in communication with your family every day, talk to your daughter or your kids every day, your wife, make sure you know they're fine, and explain. They kind of, the beginning is hard, they don't understand, but then they start understanding because this is what we chose. But it's the more communication will keep you more calm and not go crazy, because this being on the road, different places, different rooms, like hotels and stuff, it can get you sometimes.
I think people really glamorize being on the road and they don't realize that concerts happen on weekends, they happen on holidays. I mean, you can miss weddings, you can miss anniversaries, you can miss birth dates. It seems to be, you know, you're obviously in an arena with thousands of people, which is awesome, but there's some key milestones that you can definitely miss out on. And, I know for me, there were some things I turned into for either substance abuse or alcohol abuse for stuff, and it was very tough. I think with COVID happening, it really opened the eyes for some people. People had to face that head on and be able to figure out that balance of a good home life and a good work life, and what does that look like. So I appreciate you sharing that.
So I mean, it's. I can relate to the alcohol abuse too. Where like, it's tough because sometimes you just, you know, and it's like escape. You know what I mean? So it's just stay calm. You know, don't try to take the world so fast. Just slow. Everything's slow and everything comes.
So if people want to follow you on social media and follow your career, where can they follow you at?
Will Madera Will Madera. How do you say? I don't even know the Instagram stuff. And Instagram, no?
Or Will Madera, whatever that screen was.
Let me put it
We'll put it below for you.
Okay, okay, perfect. That helps.
Or a Pitbull show near you. Or near them. Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
Awesome.
Very good. Thank you.